Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious Anonymous, and welcome to the Queen of Hearts Indiegogo campaign update for what is today? Oh, January 4th, 2018. We are about 2.5 days away from the end of the campaign. My guest today is Mandy. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, it has been the roller coaster week,
Yes.
and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I think it's going to be a rip roaring, crazy, up and down, all around, upside down kind of thing until the campaign is officially over. Let me just tell you all where we stand at the moment. So we have raised 52% of the goal so far, which is 25,000. 261 backers, which is excellent. $13,049. So, in essence, we only need another 12 to go, right? Because that will take us to 25. So, we now need less than what we've already raised. But here's the thing, here's the but. We have 2.5 days. So, we basically have, 50 something hours to raise what it took, 42 days to raise currently. So that is a very tall order. But as Mandy said before we began recording, that this is a race to the finish at this point.
Yes, absolutely. We keep positive and optimistic and keep our heads up and let's keep going.
It's not over until Indiegogo says it's over, until it
There you
says
go.
closed.
Yeah.
But I have to say, even though, we're still at 52%, and you just cannot believe the amount of support that is out there. May not be monetarily, but if you go on Twitter, if you go on Facebook, it's everywhere. There's more people talking about this movie than like a Showtime pop-up, which is insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if you just type in Queen of Hearts, Twin Peaks fan film, it's just like tons and tons of people, tons and tons of support out there. Still no articles written about this project, I have to say, which is very peculiar to me. Because, there's lots of, and I'm not talking about like, big publications, but, there's lots of film websites like all over the place, that are, here that some, cannibalistic lesbian movies being made. Next thing you know, there's like, a little paragraph blurb on their website about it. So, but nothing apparently about this, which is hilarious to me.
Oh,
But okay. First of all, we've had an amazing lineup of guests this week on the show.
yeah, it's been so much fun.
I mean,
So great.
people are just eating this stuff up.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Last night's show with Jay was like, so many people were like, this is the best one you guys have done in a long time, which is crazy because I think they said that on the last one we did with Jake.
Yeah.
But that just shows you how much fun everybody's having, which is great.
Yeah.
Um,
Jay was such a great guest. Like I loved watching it. He was just really interesting. He had a lot of stuff to say. I didn't know that he had been David Lynch's assistant. And I mean, he's got stories out the yin yang, right? So it was just
right.
really cool.
And yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, here's this guy that just played, the drunk zombie in the sheriff's station.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a whole history with working with David Lynch, which was incredible. So much so that I think he's game. I think he's game to come back and actually do the Inland Empire watch along with all of us, which would be honestly the best way to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I listen, people have theories about the movie, and that's great. But I'm less interested about talking about like overall theories about the meaning of this and that, because basically the movie means whatever you want it to mean, as like a lot of Lynch stuff is. But I want to walk through that whole movie with somebody who was there every single day, shooting every single scene, And
Mm-hmm.
so we can talk about just the behind the scenes of everything. You'll be able to say, well, this was a hard location to get, or, you wouldn't believe how long it took us to find this prop. And then David wanted it red, so we had to paint it real quick. And, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear about. And I think that would make the 3 hours of Inland Empire go super quick for every single one of us.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens when you start learning the behind the scenes. That's when the actual movie can, come more alive, and it's much more interesting because there's more things to think about and stuff. So,
and even if I'm kind of lukewarm on that movie, I'll bet you after sitting through it with him, I will appreciate it even more.
yeah, for sure.
Just hearing the day-to-day stuff. I mean, when he said last night that they were in -40 in Poland on the streets, and Laura Dern's out there in a tank top, and they're shooting this with a Circuit City video camera. Right? It's so crazy. It's like, one, how did Laura Dern not die?
Yeah.
Two, how did that cheap camera not just crack? Right?
And she still loves him. She came back. She did Twin Peaks. She still loves David Lynch. Like it's crazy.
Right. She didn't burn her bridge with him, after that
Yeah.
whole thing. I remember when she went to see the premiere of it. I remember a reporter talking to her out there saying, "Oh, it's the premiere for Inland Empire." And, it was kind of a low key kind of event, right? It's not a big Hollywood brouhaha. And they're all, "What are you looking forward to, seeing in the film and that type of thing?" And she goes, "I'm looking forward to seeing what we made, because I have no idea what we did."
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anybody get her after she came out, like, what she thought of it afterwards? Has she ever talked to her about it?
I'm sure someone's had to have asked her.
Yeah, I guess. That's crazy.
That would I think doing that with Jay would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even really think about it until people started like throwing it out in the chat. And then I threw it out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, that would be kind of fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting sold on that idea." So
yeah. Well, again, it would. I mean, there's a reason why you've put it off for so long, is because it is a very daunting task to have to sit and just kind of watch that movie and, have little commentaries and talk about what we think and stuff like that. But like you said, it's far more interesting when you have information about it, and to have Jay do it. My gosh, I'd watch that. I would for sure watch that.
You're not going to watch it. You're going to be on it.
Okay.
That, and when George Griffith is here, you'll definitely be on that one. You don't want me to book George on a day that you're not available, right? Because you will drive down here and kill me.
I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah. It'd be a bad day for you.
It will be. Okay, but let me talk about a good day for me, and that was yesterday. I get home, I check Twitter, and there it was in my face. Krista Bell, our little Tammy Preston, is tweeting about my film.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned this on last night's podcast, but maybe some people don't know. So I'm going to repeat it here. This is what she says about my film and the campaign here. "This kind of devotion to the world of Twin Peaks is so touching to me. If you have ever felt the desire to help save Annie," and she hashtagged it, "now is your chance." I mean, I was speechless.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
I was
unprompted. It was completely out of nowhere. No one said, "Hey, Krista Bell, tweet this." Nobody would tweet it at her. She just did it. Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing. And also amazing because she is, basically, an arm's length away from David Lynch himself, many, many, many times, And in fact, I'm sure that she's one of the few Twitter accounts he actually reads.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that she tweeted out, I was like, "Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness." But
yeah,
it's okay. I mean, I heard through the grapevine, David Lynch already knows about the project anyway. So I'm not worried about that. But what I'd love to see is David Lynch's face seeing Krista Bell tweeting about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that would be really interesting. Uh, but again, so bizarre, this world of social media and Twitter and, you know, Facebook and all that stuff. Christabel tweets that out. It gets something like 56 retweets, you know, like 200 likes, etc. And nothing. I mean, nothing to the campaign. Like somebody, I remember when Jake, you know, we had, you know, our Superman here the other day, Freddie himself, he took to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and told everyone to support this film. And somebody on Twitter like responded to him going, "Oh my, you are doing them a huge favor because you're going to bring in a lot of money for them." No, no, it didn't. You know, so it's so bizarre. You know, it's like I got $60 last night to the campaign, and when I looked to see who it was somebody who is a frequent viewer. So that's lovely. That's wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, but Christabel's like tweet, like it is the nicest thing. I'm gonna like basically frame that for the rest of my life. But it's amazing how that really did, like, you know, I mean, I think it encouraged people maybe to look at it, but it didn't encourage any, like, you know, money to come in.
Can you track views on Indiegogo of how many people?
You can see like who's coming from Facebook, who's coming from Twitter, but it doesn't tell you like, well, they came from this tweet, you know, this person's tweet. It just says
no,
Twitter.
no, but can you actually? No, I know that, but can you track just how many visits to the actual page you get through the Indiegogo site?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I think it probably takes a day or two to adjust, you know, that type of thing. Let's see. Lights Above says David Lynch reading Christabel's tweet. What the hell?
That's great. Oh, that's awesome.
That is hilarious. Man. So, but we've had Amy Shields on. We've had John Pericello. We've had Jake Wardle, right? We had Jay Ossing last night. We're going to have a couple other people coming up in the next couple of days, which is awesome.
And we had Zoe and Lisa.
Zoe and Lisa as well. Thank you.
Within like 3 days.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty awesome. And it's incredible to see like that much support, right? Because I think that kind of started turning the tide a little bit. Not that people were, you know, vocally really against this, except for, you know, a minute few, but it, I think this kind of turned the tide because when you go on Twitter now and you type it in, it's like, you just see, just help make it happen, you know, support it. And then 8, 9, 10, 11 hours goes by in between a donation. And then like today, yeah, there hadn't been a donation for like 8 hours. And then in a 20-minute span, it was just like bam, 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 donation.
Oh.
And now there hasn't been one since 10:50 this morning. So it was like they all got on at once, and then they were like, that's enough. Yeah, so the campaign went up $200 since Christabel's tweet. Yeah, so we're still at I mean, we hit over 13,000 today, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. But we got another 12 to do in the next 2.5 days. And as we were talking last night, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. Is this thing just going to crash and burn into flames?
Yeah.
Or is everybody in the last 24 hours going to be like, oh, hell no. And everyone just starts, you know, all of a sudden has $20,000 bills being thrown at it. I mean, I have no idea. You know,
well, yeah,
I mean,
you asked me several times, like, what do you think? Like, how's this going to go? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. I mean, we're keeping as positive as we can, obviously, but
it's also hard. I will say this, it's also hard not to just cry too, you know, because it's like we're super optimistic, but at the same time, we're like, oh my good, like, It's like, does David Lynch himself does he have to be like Moses and come down from the mountain himself and say, donate?
Yeah.
Because I'm almost thinking that if David Lynch himself did that, I still don't think it would go up more than $50. But okay, but
Oh
let
my
me but,
gosh.
but let me ask you this, because this is okay. The money thing, I mean, it is what it is. But this is what I don't understand. We've had so many Twin Peaks people on here in the last week. We did, practically a 24-hour marathon. I know it was 18 or whatever, but still, we got close.
It was a long day.
It was a long day. Um, we're trending more than Showtime's Twin Peaks posts right now. We have Christabel tweeting, we have Jake tweeting, we have all these people out there. We got people, just like saying on the podcast, like, yeah, come on, I'll play a small part. I'll do a part for you and stuff like that. Cool, right? Nobody, and I repeat, nobody is writing a little blurb article about this. Like, I go on Google to search, like, news or anything like that. Nothing. Is there anything being written about it on Reddit? No. Is anybody talking about it, on the Doug forum? No. It's like what? I just don't understand, last night, much to a lot of people's amazement, Welcome to Twin Peaks, like tweeted about this.
Yeah.
It wasn't an article. It was just a tweet saying, here's the campaign, here's the trailer. So there wasn't like commentary to it. It wasn't like, hey, support this, or or it was just like, here, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wonderful. And I'm so happy, that Peter did that for us. That's great. I was just surprised that it took this long to get something like that, just because of how many people, how much was being talked about. Mm-hmm. So again, it's like you would think there's so many people following the Twitter accounts and the Facebook pages and stuff that you would think that somebody would be like, hey, I write for this little blog. Can I get an interview? Can I do a little story about it? No, nothing. Yeah. And with Jake, Amy Shields, Krista Bell, there are media outlets that monitor Twitter accounts like that, especially something like Krista Bell, for instance, right? I mean, she's signed with major labels. She's, she works with David Lynch very closely. Like, there's not some weird Italian Twin Peaks website out there. It's just like, oh, Krista Bell's talked about this. You know what I mean? Let's do a little piece on it or something like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah, that's what I found kind of strange too, especially even just with the amount of guests that you've had on your show the last few days. Mm. Those are the kind of things as a viewer that I want to know. Like, I love reading articles about the celebrities, what they're doing, all these kind of things, right? I'm kind of a star chaser that way. I love it. But nobody's even saying, oh, hey, look at this quick little interview with John who talks about this and it was really cool, or Jay or Jake or whoever, right? Like,
and I honestly think, and I'm not trying to put us on a pedestal, I think we get some of the best interviews with celebrities that that deal in this kind of Twin Peaks kind of environment, because we get them so relaxed. They're super cool. They're super down to earth. I mean, maybe they just assume, hey, we're on this small little video podcast. No one's ever going to watch this, so I'm just going to hang out here. I don't know. And I'm not knocking anybody. But I'm just saying that, like, what John was talking to us about was on such a deep level that I can't see him feeling that comfortable on just, every podcast. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's like, some people have come after me recently saying like, oh, this is an ego thing. And, you just expect everyone to write about your fan film. And that it's not that I expect everyone to write. I care less, I mean, I'm just surprised that nobody has.
Well, exactly. Like, this is Twin Peaks news, really, when you look at it, because.
And in fact, let me just, so I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, but
yeah,
in all honesty, if you take me out of this, take me out of this completely. I'm just looking at this as just an observer. This is the biggest thing right now happening in Twin Peaks news. It kind of is at the moment. At the moment. And nobody's writing about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's
and I say that and I'm taking again, I want to repeat, I'm taking myself out of this. If just anybody was doing what was happening right now, I'd be like, this is the talk of the community right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what surprises me.
Because there's a handful of celebrities from the show that are talking about it, that they're supporting it. So why aren't other people, our Twin Peaks news people and stuff like that, why aren't they talking about it too? It just seems weird.
Jason in the chat says, yeah, your talks are actual conversations. You guys aren't just doing press junket, paint by number, goobly goo, basically, And it's true.
Exactly.
It's true because while we are asking them questions, it really is like having a friend over on the couch and you guys are just talking about, your lives and career and that type of thing,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
may throw out a question or something like that, but then they fire questions back to you. And it's like, to be honest, this is why I even started this channel to begin with, because years and years ago, I thought to myself, because, I had tons of friends growing up and stuff. And I always wished, of course, because nobody knew that YouTube and things like this were going to exist. But I always wished that I had recordings of my friends and I talking about movies and things like that. And I was like, because some of those conversations were so funny or so profound that you kind of want a record of them, even just from a nostalgia point of view. So I remember when I first started this channel, I remember talking to some friends saying, I think it would be great if we just do what we do and we just recorded it and let everybody join the conversation.
Yeah.
And so that was the intent. And my intent was never to be, just sitting around with celebrities and talking with them about stuff. But I think what it is that they're involved in this world. They're involved in this material. We're involved in this world. We're involved in this material from a different perspective. And yet we both are fans of the work. So we're able to appreciate it together.
Yeah.
And I think they dig it.
Yeah.
Know.
Well, especially with everybody's talk. Yeah. But John sticks out to me that it's like, he just really loved being there. Like he was so humble and thankful about, getting to be a part of this. So it was so touching to see that.
Yeah. I mean, let me just give people some context. He couldn't get on the video with us. He tried for a long time. He couldn't do it. So finally, he called me like Amy Shields, and on the phone video. And I was like holding him like this, right? And he talked to us for about 25 minutes that way. My hand was just going insane. Like I couldn't even hold that. He was. So, and we were kind of wrapping up the noon video anyway. So I was like, well, thanks, John, for coming on. And I thought that in itself was a great interview.
Yeah.
But then he was like, hey, that's it. Like I was just kind of getting going.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, listen, we're going to figure this out and we'll bring you back. Cause we'll come back and do this, the next video and we'll bring you back. And he goes, great. Fantastic. Well, we start the next video. He's still unable to make it on. And so for the next, I don't know what it was, hour and a half, almost 2 hours, it seemed like.
Yeah. It was at least an hour.
Yeah. He was trying all this stuff, couldn't get on. Finally, like revamped his computer, put a new, Chrome on there or whatever it was, got a whole new browser and everything. And then he came on. And when he came on, he was on for, I don't know, good 90 minutes at least. Yeah. And so he literally spent total nearly like 6 hours with us, even though, he's recorded for maybe 2 hours total, but he spent 4 hours in communication with me just trying to get onto the video. Now, most people would be like, you know what, to heck with this, some other time we'll arrange it, we'll get it all figured out, you know. Um, he just kept going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now Amy's going to be another story because she primarily talks through her phone. So I'm going to have to do hers on Skype, which obviously will not be live, unfortunately. But you do what you got to do, and I think it'd be worth it to have a good sit down with her.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, you know, but yeah, no, but John, he was a trooper. Um, so
They all were.
yeah,
We've
I mean,
had
they're
just
great.
such great people. So much fun.
Right. Ace Ventura in the live chat says, do you guys think if season three was received better, that this campaign would be going a little easier? I think where it counts, it was received pretty well. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who didn't like it, but I think the vast majority, in terms of critics and we still are on Twin Peaks Facebook page and stuff like that, seems to still be a lot of love for it. So I don't think that's the issue. Um, I don't know what the issue is at the moment, because a few days ago I was talking about how there were some people and sites and stuff that were kind of like purposely not discussing this. Well, I managed to talk with a few of their admins and get it straightened out, and so even a lot of those, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them now are posting about this. So that's fantastic. So it's great. So it does feel like the community at large is starting to really rally about this, because I think they were like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a Twin Peaks fan film and yada yada yada. But now I'm seeing people online that never have acknowledged me before, like never acknowledged me before. Not saying that they were against me, but just they've never had any interactions with me. They've never tagged me on anything. They never say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Whatever. They're now tweeting out, 3 days left, 3 days left.
Mm.
So I think now it's like, oh, well, we could have something really cool now. And it's like when it was 30 days left, they were like, I don't know. But now that it's like a week left and they've been seeing all these celebrities again, if it was just the campaign, maybe they'd be like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Maybe it's cool. I don't know. But I think now that all these Twin Peaks people have been on and they're all like, support this movie, you should really do it. Krista Bell out there, support this movie. I think that really helps turn the tide and get people going,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should take a look at this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, because you would think just as a community would be like rah rah in each other's corners all the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes it does take that celebrity endorsement.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that but that being said, the celebrity endorsement has translated into more tweets, more Facebook posts. It has not translated into any donations coming in. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm just like, this is very peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fascinating from, as Andy Kaufman would say, a behavioral science
Yeah.
outlook. It's like, oh my goodness. Like I honestly thought, this is very naive of me, I'm sure, but I honestly thought that Christabel's tweet, I thought that we would be, at 15,000 by now. I thought I would at least bring in 1,000 or two.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
but since her tweet, $200 has come in. Which don't I mean, listen, I like I said a million times, I thank her for that, because that was the best thing to come home to ever. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
Uh,
every single dollar, it counts for something,
of course.
and the people that can only give $1, they went out of their way to give $1. That's amazing. Like that's such a nice thing for them to do. But yeah, it's kind of weird that, if that the like you said, that the endorsements are not they're not translating.
So my question is, do the endorsements, are people really taking those to heart and going, nah? Or is it, because, Facebook, Twitter, sometimes people are subscribed to so many things that maybe it's not showing up in people's feeds. But I'm certainly tweeting it out so much that, it should be on everybody's feed at some point, to the point where I'm like irritated seeing it on my feed. I'm just like, enough. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't think, if you go on Twitter right now, I mean, it's not a lack of trying if you don't see it. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's some people in the chat here saying, Cameron, the campaign was very well received by me. In my opinion, is all that matters. Well, if you have $12,000, all Zach,
you bring that on down.
Yeah, yeah, come on down. I'll put you in the Black Lodge. Ace Ventura says, "What can we do to get more people to start talking more?" Here's my thing. I think we're talking enough. I mean, there's more talk than anything going on. Mm-hmm. And now I will say this: a lot of people did tweet to John Schnepp, who has been on this podcast before, and he's he's on a Collider Movie Talk, and he's he made this really cool documentary called "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened," which was super awesome. And he's he knows crowdfunding like nobody's business. I mean, he does constant crowdfunding stuff and raises $200,000 like left, right, and center. And so, I had a lot of people tweet him to let him know, hey, this podcast that you've been on before, needs support and this time. And he started liking stuff and retweeting stuff, and not just like one thing. He started going through like other people's comments and just liking those too. So, Schnepp was on a roll this morning, because he's overseas right now in Europe. So he's like several hours ahead. And so like when I woke up this morning, it was like, John Schnepp likes this. John Schnepp retweeted this. John Schnepp. I was like, yes, that's fantastic. Cause he's a good guy. Unfortunately it did nothing. So
I hate that that's always the answer.
It's always the answer. All right. Reggie in the chat is saying that he just donated.
Good, thank you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we have a $5 donation. Thank you. I don't want to say your name if that's and then we have another $1 donation. I don't know if you want me to say your name or not, but so 2 donations, great. And what's funny about these is that they both come in at 7:40 p.m. right? And now there won't be one till like 5:40 a.m. No, but I mean that's like what it is. It's like they all come at once, or there's like hours in between.
Yeah.
And as I've said, and as Frank has said, and Hal has said, and everybody has said on these videos, don't stop donating like after the videos. We have to sleep here, people. We have to go about our lives and do stuff, and we kind of count on you guys to help carry the torch. We can only do so much,
Yep.
So let me go over here to the campaign, because I like to update it every time. But yeah, as for talking about it, I mean, I think there's plenty of people talking about it. So we're at $13,055, 263 backers, 52% raised, 3 days left. Well, basically 2.5. But the other thing is, what I would like to see, I mean, and it's like practically way too late now, is, I want to see like, blurbs on like JoeBlow.com or, all the little movie websites, Dread Central or wherever, all the, because like they have to, those writers on there, those like the blog writers, they have to crank out like 4 to 6 online articles an hour on their 4 or 5, 6 hour shifts.
What?
That's why when you go on websites and you look and click on an article, it's never like a long, in depth, like well researched article. It's always like, it's like a little paragraph of this movie's coming out. You know what I mean? Because they have to crank these things out. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's been so many people tweeting out to blogs. I've done it too. and nobody has picked up on this. Nobody. And
Hmm.
so it's like, I'll tell you right now, if you are a blog writer and you do something about this film, you're going to get a lot of clicks because nobody else is writing about this and people are going to want to read information.
Hmm.
So if you, in the next 2 days, preferably sooner than later, write a blurb about this, you're going to, get some views because a lot of people are going to want to see it. And I will take your article and post it everywhere. So at least it will be, offered up to at least 100,000 eyes upon publication. So if you, have your little, you get paid by the click or whatever like that, hey, you might have a good day with that. But yeah, I mean, I just, that's what I would like to see. I just can't believe if it was just like, oh, this little fan film and whatever, that's one thing. But the moment, I mean, listen, everybody else is great. Love it, love it, love it. The moment Krista Bell, who is basically like David Lynch's left arm, right, tweets about this, this should have been everywhere.
Oh.
But and see, because I do a lot of work in film and social media and all that type of stuff, so I know how like all it takes is like a sniffle from somebody, Ben Affleck, burps in a restaurant, and it's an article on Yahoo.com.
As it should be.
Well,
I'm joking.
is he burping in the babysitter's face? That's what I want. But that's the thing that's so shocking to me is like you have like a collection of Twin Peaks actors all saying they support this. You have a collection of Twin Peaks actors who've all given their generous time to sitting down and doing like hour-long interviews on this channel with me lately. Again, I've said this before this week, but I've kind of wanted to do a video every day this week until the campaign is over, just so that people are constantly reminded of this thing. Which is kind of funny to me. I just feel like I'm trolling everybody like, hey, everybody, I'm still here. It's like, yeah, we just saw you yesterday, putz, but you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, no, I'm just routinely dumbfounded every day that there's not something written about this. That's all, again, I'm not expecting, again, I always feel like I have to defend myself, but people have said to me, you just expect everyone to be talking about you in this film. And it's like, no, I just expect somebody to,
Yeah, it's not an arrogant thing. It's just hey, it's Twin Peaks. It's news. Why isn't it being talked about?
Exactly.
And just community support for, your fellow Twin Peaks people. Like,
well, I think the community support is there now.
I meant from like the higher up, like the web pages and things like that. Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, regardless of that, I think, in all honesty, I think this is beyond even that kind of publication at this moment. Even though I would love to have them write something about it, that'd be great. I think now it's to the point where, like I said, JoeBlow.com, Ain't It Cool News, those kind of places. Those kind of places should be talking about this now. Than just the niche market in the Twin Peaks community. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Jason says, yeah, a lot of people are giving a little, and this can add up. Yes, it can. Oh, it definitely can. But we have 50 something hours to do $12,000. So if you're going to give a little, that's amazing. Listen, like Mandy said, every dollar counts. Every dollar is amazing, but that just means we need 12,000 of you to throw in a dollar. So it might be a little easier if we have less people give a little bit more. But yes, whatever you can give is great. And again, I want to remind you, if the campaign is not successful, you get your money back. It all comes rushing back to you. This is like a Celine Dion song. It's all coming back to me now.
Wow. Really?
Hashtag gays for Mandy. Okay.
Okay.
Which, by the way, okay, listen, you need to address this because it's come up several times now. So why did I say that? Tell everybody like how this like social media blitz happened.
I don't know. You had oh, you made a comment on one of the shows a few days ago, and someone responded. I don't remember if I think his name starts with an M, right? And he was like, "Oh," and he said, "Oh my gosh, hold on, let me start over again. What happened?" I don't. Oh, you put me on the spot. Anyway, someone started this a couple days ago, and it keeps popping up in comments now. So, and that's fine. That's
Hey,
hey,
listen,
the more
listen.
people that like me, the better.
Well, I know because you had there were some people on the channel. You were one of them. They had kind of a rough time a little bit during the summer, where some people, like especially when we did our Laura is the one like watch along. I mean that I think got like one of the biggest thumbs downs of this whole channel, because we kind of, not that we were disappointed with the episode or the show, we just were questioning certain things about the show, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
people look at that as
stating an opinion.
right.
That's what we did.
Yeah. And again, you're free to disagree, but people were coming for us on that video, so much so that you, me, and Hal had to come back and like do like like, hey everybody, cool down.
Yeah.
Right?
And this episode was titled perfectly, and everything else that followed was a masterpiece. Which again, it's we're allowed to have opinions.
Exactly.
This is what's happening. And we're allowed to express our disappointments and our frustrations, and that's what happened. But man, people got nasty.
Well, because we were in the middle of the Twin Peaks craze, and people were just wanting everything to be, just rah, everything's awesome. But a lot of our loyal viewers understood exactly what we meant.
Yes.
So that's great. That being said, I can't go into specifics. I can't go into names, but I have talked to a lot of people higher up in the Twin Peaks, not community, but that made the show, seasons 1, 2, and 3. And they've all told me the same thing, which is the reason why we love your show, the reason why we love your channel, is because you don't kiss our ass every single second. You actually tell us that you don't like this, that that you wish we were doing this instead, because it's a lot better than just hearing somebody kiss our ass so that we come on the show for an interview. The reason why people come on this show for interviews, the reason why people come on this show to sit down and chat with us, the reason why we have such amazing guests on a frequent basis is because they respect us for respecting them as artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm really proud of this channel. Yeah. No Time says, do you think you guys are going to do another 24-hour marathon since the deadline is so close? No.
Yeah, no.
Not happening. No. Once was enough.
Yeah. Couldn't even make it 24 hours. We're not going to do another one.
No, not at all.
Crazy.
Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits. Hi, David. He says, the Nerdist would be a good place, Cam, to contact. Well, David, please have at it. Contact the Nerdist. Jacob Starr says, I don't know if this is a sincere question or if this is a trolling question. He says, how many other articles are there about Indiegogo fan films? See, this is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that news places should be covering this because this is a Twin Peaks fan film. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that look at the support this film is getting. Look at the people talking about this film. That's what the news is, not the fan film, even though it's, they'd have to credit it and show the Indiegogo link and all that stuff. But the news is Krista Bell just promoted this, not Cameron's making a Twin Peaks fan film. That's not the news. Nobody knows who the hell I am, except the wonderful people who watch this channel and the the community at large. But But yeah, that's the news. You know, Christabel just promoted a Twin Peaks fan film while everybody's waiting for Twin Peaks season 4. That's the news.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hinting at. Jacob says, Cam, you should write the article and send it to blogs. No, that's not how it works, Jacob. You know, you can just imagine Ridley Scott writing about Alien Covenant. This movie is a masterpiece. All right, deadline. Write it up. No. They have to do it on their own. They have to want to do it. The thing is, though, is that a lot of these sites, they only want to do articles for things that they think they'll get traffic for. But Twin Peaks, even though, yeah, it's a niche show with a niche audience, that niche audience clicks on articles. If you know how many people in the Twin Peaks community go on Google every single like hour to 2 hours and type in Twin Peaks under the news just to see if there's anything new that comes up.
Wow, really?
For posting.
Moly.
So yeah, I mean, if you post something up, at 12, by 2 o'clock, it's going to be on like 6 dozen, Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and blah, blah, blah. That's how feeding frenzy it is for news, because there hasn't been a lot of news lately. So people are just, wanting to see everything. Okay. Let's see. All right, here. Alexander says, Cam, I'm not sure people would donate money to David Lynch if he started an Indiegogo campaign. You know what though? I think you're wrong on that, because the David Lynch The Art Life movie that came out on Criterion Blu-ray and is an excellent movie, that was a crowdfunding thing. That entire movie was made from donations from David Lynch fans. So
Really?
because if you donated like $1,000, you got like an executive producer credit on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I actually considered it. I thought that would be super cool. But I talked to the guy who was making it, and I said, do any of these perks allow you to meet the man himself? And he goes, no. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to give a couple thousand to it, if it's just, but if I had known it was going to be as good as it was, you know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I now kick myself. It's like, oh, I could have been on the Criterion label, my name. That would have been fantastic. So that is something I actually regret not contributing to. Let's see. Now, Hal's in the chat saying #gays for Mandy.
Hi, Hal.
Undeclared Nation yells out gays for Mandy. Matthias says Mandy is our gay icon.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't know what to say to that.
SMH says you guys should start accepting Bitcoin. Let's see. Reggie says, I wonder what the higher ups think of that season 3 hating podcast, the Twin Peaks podcast.
Oh, was that the one that
remember the one I shared with you that where it was like they were
3.5 oh man. I got so mad watching that.
Well, it wasn't watching. Yeah. Well, I will say this. I have an opinion about it because I actually listened to the whole thing. I didn't fast forward. I didn't. It was like a couple times, but I went through the whole thing. And yeah, they're free to say whatever they want. I mean, I care less if they hated it. In fact, I think it's interesting when people hate on something, because then I know where they're coming from. And it just what was disheartening to me though was a podcast that had been so gung-ho Twin Peaks for years completely disintegrate, listening to this thing, where by the end of it, they were saying they were done with the show. They were done with David Lynch. They were done with Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it wasn't just the fact that they hated the show. It was like listening to their fandom die. And so that was like, wow. You know,
Sad.
it was sad, it was depressing, and a lot of their hating comments were like cheap shots. They weren't like, well, I didn't like the fact that Cooper was with Diane, and they come up with certain reasons why, etc., whatever. It was just like lame attempts at humor, to try to be irreverent and stupid and funny. And so that was like, I was like, really? We're not even gonna hate on it and talk about, we're just gonna mock it for 3.5 hours. And then at the end, they were just like, I'm done with Twin Peaks. It killed me inside and I'm done with it. These same people 5 years from now are going to love season 3. So, it's
well,
going to
yeah. And you have to think too, like, I don't remember the history of these people, but like, how long had they actually been in the community? Like, how long had they been?
A long time, because it was called the Twin Peaks podcast, right? So it was like this, it was like, it had been like one of the first ones out there, so.
But so the people that were all involved in it had been watching the show for, 10, 20 plus years.
I don't know. I have no idea their history.
I don't get it. It wasn't that bad. It didn't kill my soul. Like, I don't get
well, you just have to accept that it's different from the original series.
Yeah. And there's so many beautiful things about it.
Yeah.
And watch anybody who hasn't seen the special features on the Blu-ray, that will completely change your mind about anything about the show, because it enhances it so much. Like what we were talking about earlier, about how when you have behind the scenes info and things like that, it just enriches what you're seeing so much. So I'm rewatching the Blu-rays right now. I get to watch part 8 tonight, and I'm super excited because I love the first half of that episode. Duh. And I'm excited to see it in like a better definition and all. I'm just so excited. I'm loving watching this again. All of it.
And like I said, like, even if you like hated chunks or a good part of the series, to me, I still feel like there's enough good in there that it would override all the negatives you could possibly have. Like, if you're like, I thought it was anticlimactic, I thought it went nowhere, it was ridiculous, but I'll bet you could name 15, 20 scenes that you are so happy to have in your life that you didn't have prior. And even little stuff like Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh taking on the Polish accountant. That right there is one of the best scenes of the year.
Yeah.
Things like that. So,
yeah.
All right. Joey says,
the arm wrestling. Come on. Arm wrestling was the best.
Listen, I know any scene with George Griffith is just top of the heap for you, but
it's not just that. It's yes, that helps a lot. It's also Mr. C.
Oh, you know what? Since we were talking about this earlier, I can hold people off for a second while you go get your present, so you can show it on the camera.
Okay.
All right. So Mandy is going to go get a Christmas present that she got from some friends. Reggie. Oh, no, I already read your question, Reggie. Joey says, the 24-hour marathon is our lives. Yeah, you know what? As I said the other day, we continue these conversations even after we're off camera. These conversations happen, on Facebook, on phone, on chat. We just, right now this campaign is like everything going on with us. So we're trying to just figure out what we're doing, what we need to do, what we have to do, people we can contact. I get maybe 5 hours of sleep a night, and then do these videos every single night, trying to, raise awareness for this thing. So believe me, this whole thing is our lives right now, which is why I'm happy it's kind of the campaign is at least over in a few days, just because it's just been exhausting doing this. But Mandy, you're back. So why don't you walk us through, who your friends are and the circumstances and what you got?
Okay. So, people that have watched me on here before know that I went to Twin Peaks Fan Festival in 95 and 96. So it was a very long time ago. And there I met, one of my dearest friends, Andrew. And, we've kept in touch over the years and stuff. Anyway, and for the finale, I went down to stay with him and Kenneth for the finale. I was down in LA for a week, and that was really cool. Blah blah blah. And anyway, so the other day, Andrew sends me a message saying, "Hey, I sent you a Christmas present." I was like, "Well, that was very nice." And he's like, "I think you're gonna cry, so you have to FaceTime us when you open it." I'm like, okay. So I finally get the package. We had an ice storm here. It was a whole big deal. And so I open this up, and it's the final dossier. I was like, it's awesome. I love this. And he's like, open it. So I opened it, and inside was this beautiful, personalized autograph from Mark Frost. So there we go. That was my present. I loved it. So yeah, so now I have an autograph from one of the maestros. Super cool. Yeah.
But tell them the negative side of that story.
The negative side is that Andrew and Kenneth got to meet George Griffith that night.
And didn't
I
do
wasn't
what?
there.
And
I
didn't
did
do
nothing.
what? No, they didn't even get his autograph from the book.
No,
And,
they didn't pass this around or anything. Nothing.
And Ray has his own chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's okay. I'm very thankful. Very, very thankful for this autograph. And maybe one day I can fill this with a whole bunch of other names. So the fact that I have a picture of Andrew with George Griffith is super awesome. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just such a
he touched
cool
it.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, super cool. And he said that everybody there was just like, he said the cast members there are just so amazing. They're so down to earth. They're so friendly. They're so humble. So that's, yeah, it's really cool.
Michael says the arm wrestling scene of season 3 was the best scene of the season.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, so walk me through it. Walk me through it. Why is this one of the highlight scenes for you?
You know, I actually found that while watching the suspense of it, really, there's so much tension. As soon as or Mr. C drives into the parking garage or whatever it is,
right.
It's like, oh, and then Ray's standing there. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? They're going to meet again. And just the dialogue, Muddy, the guy that plays Muddy, love him. He's so great. And then the guy that plays Renzo, he's just freaky. I was like, ooh, what's going to happen with this guy? I think it was just the emotions attached to it, the tension, the suspense. And then when they actually started arm wrestling, I was like, is Mr. C gonna pull out some supernatural crap and go all Bob on him, or is he gonna be defeated? Is he gonna break his arm? Is he gonna end up with all these cronies? What's gonna happen? And then Ray's there freaking out, and it's like, what's gonna happen? Is Ray finally gonna die now? It was just really cool.
Well, let me tell you something about that I found disappointing, even though I liked the scene overall, of course. Right. Because the thing was made in a way where people didn't know, scenes that happened before, scenes that happened after. They were kind of kept in the moment. And this would be something I really want to talk to George about is, well, no, because he's sorry. Because if you go by the series of what we saw, he shot Cooper or Mr. C, whatever. And he saw these prancing, dancing, burnt woodsmen doing their little, voodoo dance around him.
Which was terrifying.
Yeah. So obviously he knows that this doppelganger is some supernatural weirdo, right? He's pretty cool and collective in a parking garage full of gang members. He should know that this doppelganger could kill them all with a pinky. But I'm wondering if they shot this scene prior to him knowing about the scene that he shoots him. Because he doesn't look as nervous as I would be if a supernatural being that I just plugged and I came back to life from the prancing, dancing fairies, the fairy woodman. I would be absolutely horrified that this person was even in the room. And there's many shots where George, even though Ray is supposed to be this cool, collective FBI informant guy, He
Oh, he's full on freaking out.
well, I don't.
Like,
But see, you may think that. I didn't think that. I didn't think he was actually completely scared out of his mind. I saw him just kind of like, huh. I would have been out the door the moment Doppelganger walked in the room.
no, but well, no, but in the actual, like when they're actually doing the arm wrestling,
Sure,
Ray's
sure.
like having a conniption.
Right, but Ray should have had a conniption the moment he pulled into the parking garage.
But you got to remember, after he shoots him and all that stuff happens when Ray finally gets in the car and drives away,
Mm.
and then he's on the phone. He's all like, "Hey, like something happened back there, and this guy's like bad news. He's probably going to show up at the farm." So he was he was pretty calm and cool about it anyway. It seemed to.
Well, I'm just confused by his overall character because because he looks pretty scared out of his mind when those woodsmen are going around the doppelganger.
Yes, but
I'm not insulting George.
you kind of are.
I'm just saying that the predicaments that Lynch put the actors in, not knowing what they would shot before and after, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that affected that scene, even in a small, minute way.
Okay.
That's all, and I would
Yeah.
like to get to the bottom of that. Like,
And I respect your opinion.
but you wholeheartedly disagree, and I understand because the more that George is on screen, the better the scene is. I had a friend growing up that if a movie had a scene that took place in a trailer park, he immediately said it was a masterpiece.
What?
All a movie had to do was just have a scene that take place in a trailer park, even for like 5 seconds, and it was hailed by him as a masterpiece. That was just his thing. So when he was watching Fire Walk with Me and the Harry Dean Stanton scene came up, he goes, "Oh, this is a masterpiece." Fantastic.
What was his childhood trauma? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. But that was his criteria. If you could be a great film, but if you had a scene in a trailer park, you went above great film and became a masterpiece.
That's that's very interesting.
Isn't it? That's why I remember it to this day.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. Wow. I don't know I don't know how I can't follow that up with anything.
Jason says, "Donate, donut, do it."
There you go.
Let's see here. Buster says arm wrestling scene was great because Mr. C, you just knew he was going to whip him. Let's see. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says this will be one of the most anticipated episodes. Just call it When Mandy Met George.
Yes, let's make that happen. Tweet him, please.
Yeah, tweet. But don't tell him that the that the host myself is going to turn off my mic and the camera and leave those two alone live on YouTube together.
That would be very inappropriate. I do respect the fact that he's just an actor. He's just a person.
Yes.
I like it. I like how he acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, everyone, for going on a George rant. It's been a day.
Reggie says, will there be any trailer park scenes in Queen of Hearts? No.
And your film will not be a masterpiece.
It will not. It will not. Gary says, this is the best Twin Peaks YouTube show every night. I think this is the only Twin Peaks YouTube show every night. Lights Above says, The Last Starfighter is a masterpiece. Yeah, it is pretty good. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says, we need a Ray prequel set entirely in a trailer park.
Yes. Now that would be a masterpiece.
Mandy, you can come in like the woman in Fire Walk with Me with the ice pack into his trailer.
When I was younger and first saw that person terrified me. That person terrified me just as much as the woman behind the dumpster in Mulholland Drive terrified me. There was rumors for years that was David Lynch. It is not David Lynch, correct?
It's not.
Okay,
David Lynch is not in drag in Fire Walk with Me.
Hey, you know what? At a certain angle, a certain time of day, I could see it.
So if we ever,
you've heard
listen,
that though, right?
yeah, I have, and it's made me laugh every time. Listen, if the man himself, if Mr. Lynch ever graced us with his presence on this podcast, you have to ask him that question.
No.
Yes. Because that would separate us from all the other podcasts. It's like, David, I have a serious question for you. Are you indeed the old crotchety woman coming to the trailer park fire walk with me?
Can you please confirm for me?
He'll be like, no, Mandy.
Oh,
Buster says
man.
that person with the ice pack looks like a woodsman.
The woodsman's mother.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the looks like what was her name? The woman from the Goonies and Throw Mama from the Train.
Yeah.
Buster says, yeah, maybe a retired woodsman. Well, listen, as I said before, I'll say it again. The woodsmen were great because obviously there's no discrimination in terms of getting into their club. You can be all shapes, all sizes. They even send the little chubby one in there to kill Matthew Lillard in the car, you know. Like I'm watching that scene with him creeping up towards the car, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. This is not scary at all, Mr. David Lynch. This is really funny to me.
You know what though? Now all I see is that meme of him walking up to the car with the tray of McDonald's food. Oh my gosh, did you see that?
No.
It's the worst thing. It's so funny. that too, that whole sequence is brilliant. That's a masterpiece right there. Every part of it. Love it so much.
The David Lynch vortex moment.
Love it. So good. So good.
Oh boy. All right, guys. We'll take some last comments here, and then we'll go. We kind of turned this from a Queen of Hearts update video into like a small little thought of the day video. So I'll probably change the title of the video, which will instantly demonetize it on YouTube, I'm sure. So, because that's YouTube. Yay! Thumbs up.
Don't
Aces. But anyway, all right, let's go and look at the campaign again. Interesting. Somebody just messaged me that I should probably check that out. 52% raised of 25,263 backers. $13,055. Basically 2.5 days left. So, you know what? I've asked you, Mandy. So now I'm going to ask the chat right now before we go. Be honest. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's just going to be, like there has been the last 2 days, this like bum rush of excitement and people talking about it, and that will translate into something? Or do you think that we'll basically hit, I don't know, 14,500, 15,000, and then that will basically be it? I'm curious. Now, we want to be optimistic, but we also want to just discuss. This is part of the fun of discussing, place your bets now. I mean, I honestly cannot tell you, because I can see this thing like not being successful. And then I can also see myself checking Sunday morning and it saying that, it hit 100% that night. So I don't know. And, which is why my nerves, my stomach's like, all tight, because I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm going to throw it out to you guys, and let's discuss it real quick. While I check this. Okay, here we go. Oh, we got a lot of comments. Let's see here. All right. Jacob Starr says, Queen of Hearts question, what kind of structure are you planning for this story? Don't want to go into too much detail for obvious reasons, but it does take place in a like in the past. It doesn't take place now with the current with the current timeline and like that. So let's see. Okay, well, hang on. Let me get to this one. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limit says, "Keep the drive alive, everyone." And Buster says, "There are always 3 thumbs down. Has to be the same 3 every time. These 3 should get a life." Buster, I'll go you one even further. We had 1 thumbs down before we even began the video.
We were legitimately just talking beforehand, and then he's like, "What the hell? We have a thumbs down and we haven't even started yet." Oh man.
It's terrible. Terrible. Michael says, "Are you guys going to watch X-Files or any other shows until season 4 possibly airs?" I'm not watching X-Files because I have to start with X-Files season 1.
Me too.
I own the whole series on Blu-ray. I own everything, even season 10, the limited event series. I've yet to sit down and watch any of it. Mainly because I know that it doesn't really add up to anything, So it's like I don't want to get into a show that's not gonna, it's still going, and people are like, I don't care about the mythology anymore. They don't really care about it either. So why should I even get invested in it? I didn't want to get invested at the time when it came out. Because I looked at the X-Files when it first came out. It was like, well, that's a Twin Peaks ripoff. Like it's like David Duchovny is an FBI agent. Where have I seen that before?
Yeah. I had the same thing. I was like, screw you, X-Files.
Yeah. And the fact that X-Files has gone on for 11 years and Twin Peaks is, barely done 3 seasons because, season 1 is like 7 episodes long, it's not a full season. So yeah. But again, I own the whole thing. So one day I'll get around to checking it out. It's just that, no, I'm not watching the new season of X-Files. And from what I see, people aren't too happy with it so far. So, it's going to be one of those where I wait for it to hit $9.99 on Blu-ray and then have it sit on my shelf for 5 years before I even look at it. So, Jacob says, anything could happen, dude. Stay positive. Now, Mandy.
There you go.
No, I agree. We are being very positive about this. I mean, if I wasn't being positive, I wouldn't be doing these videos. I wouldn't be tweeting this out and doing Facebook pages. And just so you know, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I did set up a separate Twitter account for the movie. Just look up Queen of Hearts, Twin Peaks fan film. And I also created a new Facebook page for the movie, Queen of Hearts, Twin Peaks fan film. Mostly because if the film does happen, that I can do all the postings there and not drive everybody who is, subscribed to Obnoxious Anonymous insane with every single post about like the big posts about it. Like I would put on both, but the day-to-day kind of, ups and downs and craziness of everything would go on those particular pages, which I thought was probably the best thing because I just felt like I was like, oh my God, people must be going crazy, just seeing all these tweets and stuff about it. So anyway, make sure to subscribe to those as well if you're on those platforms. If not, just keep watching us on YouTube. Let's see. Reggie says, unfortunately, I think the only possibility of getting the 25,000 is to extend it. Well, the problem with that, again, as I've explained before, that if you extend it, it would have to extend all the way till June. And I have a few months to get everything together. And if the money still isn't there, I can't book people, book locations, book equipment, book stuff like that if I don't have the money in, if I don't know it's coming in. So like if people know, I can donate all the way till June, I can't make any plans because I don't know if it's ever going to come in, so that's an issue. And if it's all tense for, a month and a half or basically 2 months with all the prep trying to do this, I can't even imagine extending this gut feeling for another 6 months while I'm trying to, get everything together with the film, get all the pre-production and stuff like that, and still try to raise money. No, you kind of have to have it. You have to have the budget ready, and then so you can concentrate on other stuff. I can't fundraise and do pre-production and do casting and do all this stuff all at the same time, while also, working for a living. So it's, it's no. So it's gotta, people have had close to 60 days, Mandy, to donate to this campaign. So,
Yep.
it's not my fault that people are waiting until the last 2 days to throw it in. People have had, close to 60 days. So, if it doesn't happen, then that's where we are, unfortunately. Okay, here. Reggie says, do you regret not making the budget lower? No, because there are campaigns on Indiegogo and Kickstarter all the time for like the worst projects ever that managed to get $50,000 to $100,000 in 30 days.
Yeah.
And so naively, I thought, well, Twin Peaks is popular enough with all of us. People like me. People were encouraging me. And again, the funny thing is that I did a budget of what people told me, what they said they were going to contribute to the film, and it came out to $40,000. So me setting it at 25 was actually me lowballing the budget to begin with, of what people said that they would donate. You know what I mean? So in a way, we should have hit that 25 3 weeks ago. Because I was hoping that we would hit 40,000, and then it would be like, you have achieved 250% of what you wanted to do, because that happens all the time. But yeah, it's but we're still 13,000, so we're not even close to what people initially told me they were going to donate anyway. So actually the budget I set was actually lower than what people were saying. So interesting. Let's see. Michael says, I think this thing is going to get to 20,000, but it will hit 100% if extended a little longer. See, you don't get a choice about that. If it was like 2 weeks longer, maybe, but it just extends 6 months. And it doesn't even like tell you a time. Like it won't say like, oh, this is extended till this day. It says closed, but you can still donate to it. So it would probably turn off a lot of people anyway when they would get to it, because it would look like it was shut down. And then there'd be some people who would, who've donated to it, who would probably around March or April would be like, hey, can I get my money back? And, that would just be a big mess. And it would be really hard to do all that stuff. So I figured, you know what? Kickstarter lets you do 30 days. And then after 30 days, if you don't raise the money, boom, everyone gets it back and life goes on. And so I was like, you know what? That's basically what I want, just to kind of, and again, like I didn't just launch the thing and be like, hey, everybody, I did this little campaign. Like I prepped everybody for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks beforehand,
Yeah. Tonight
like,
is not the first time that people are hearing about this. So
no, I was like, hey guys, 15 days until we launch, 14 days until we launch, 13 days until we launch. So, and that first day, I think it was like the first weekend or whatever, we hit 5,000, like that first weekend. And so it's just been, steadily climbing ever since. Twin Peaks Outside City Limits says, it's going to be close. Big donations coming in soon, hoping for the best. See, my prediction beforehand was this thing's either going to majorly succeed or it's going to completely fail. And I was making the assumption that it wasn't going to be a crawl to the finish line type of thing. But here we are, crawling to the finish line. And I don't know, is the person's hand when they reach out, is it going to go over that finish line? Or are we just going to collapse and die on the ground right there? Who knows? Okay. Norman says, it could happen. I'd have no problem if right at the deadline time, extending it for maybe just 2 weeks. Anything like this past 7 days and you would hit the goal. You know what? I want to believe you, but I don't. But I don't think it would happen. I think if you told somebody, hey, it got extended by 3 weeks, if I could do that, I think people would still wait until the last few days to donate. So People love to procrastinate. You know, how many people do you see that come running into a movie theater 10 minutes late, and it's like, come on, you know, you couldn't get here before the previews, and now you're making me move so you can sit closer to your significant other. I got here early, you know. Sit behind me while I rock my chair back into your lap. All right.
That went off a little bit. You went off on a little tangent there.
Jason says, hopefully everybody gets their paychecks tomorrow and hits it hard. Yeah, hit it hard. That's what I say.
Payday tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. We need 12,000 people to donate $1 on their payday, which would be amazing. I would love to have, like, you've had 13,000 backers.
Oh my gosh, that's so, yeah.
And Mandy's gonna have to do, you know, 500 podcasts with them. You know, I see. That's the thing that I find funny is nobody has donated to the podcast yet.
Nobody wants to have a podcast with me.
Nobody's.
I'm the cheap one. Remember? Come on, $250. Come on,
listen. Nothing. No matter how stressed this whole thing is, nothing, and I mean nothing, was as stressful as me telling all the participants of this podcast what they would be worth on the campaign. I would be like, well, Mandy, I'm gonna have to set you here. Eric, you're gonna have to be here. Now I knew, and I'm not saying this to be rude, but I knew that Hal and Emma, the vlog lady, who said that she would do them as well, would be the most requested. So I had to set them higher than everybody else, or else they would be doing podcasts until they were 60 years old. So, but nobody has bid on anybody's except mine, because mine is actually the cheapest. I'm the $100 one. So I got a bunch of them who want to do either private conversations, or they want to do full on Twin Peaks Thought of the Day videos with me.
Awesome.
So that's super fun. But no, you weren't. You.
Just don't finish that sentence.
I'm just saying that I did not make you cheap, right?
Whatever. Who's on the video with you now? Anyway. I'm totally joking.
Well, behind this door, I got George Griffith. Come on down. Mandy, you guys.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Y'all are going to want to tune into that one, let me tell you. Oh, that is going to be crazy.
Okay, Alexandra, she's whipping in a little reality check here. She's like, unless Lana Milford makes an anonymous donation, I don't see this happening in 3 days. But what do I know? I live in Eastern Europe where we pirate everything.
That's honest. Oh, that's funny.
Oh my, that's hilarious. Okay, here. Let's see. Jacob Star says the first season of X-Files was brilliant. And Hal says, I hated it when Wrapped in Plastic used to include lots of X-Files articles.
Right, me too. So rude.
Well, you know,
like, what are you going to do? Start talking about Northern Exposure now too?
Well, and I'm not saying this to throw shade at all, but that news site 25 years later, they're now starting to do X-Files coverage.
Well, that's because there's something else to talk about.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the difference is that when X-Files came out, it was kind of, you know, this was, I don't know, it was like, how do I say this? It was its own thing, but then as it kept going on, it was like, I can see why Wrapped in Plastic might touch base on it because of the David Duchovny connection and blah blah blah. But it is its own thing. However, I can see why the 25 years later is talking about it, not so much because it's X-Files, and not because it's, you know, got its foot in, you know, a little bit like Twin Peaks. I think it's because the Twin Peaks communities, like the pages and the you know, and all that, when they share things, they don't just share things having to do with David Lynch or Twin Peaks. They share Blue Velvet stuff. They show Rabbits. They show Dumbland stuff. They show Racerhead stuff. I think they just love to share anything in that has any connection whatsoever to the world. Oh, this is what David Duchovny is working on. Oh, he's playing an FBI agent. Oh, it's, you know, it's got a little bit of supernaturalness to it. So we're going to cover it too. I get that. But back in the day, like now you can have all the nice things, right? There's so many TV shows being made, blah, blah, you can just bask in it all. But back in the 90s, there was just a sour taste in my mouth that Twin Peaks one guy, you know, axed, and then Fire Walk with Me bombed. And so it was just kind of like, I'm not going to support the X-Files when my stuff just completely tanked.
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of the difference. I think now we're all in a celebratory mood of anything that kind of is somebody that we love and respect in Twin Peaks. We kind of follow their careers and other things, you know? So I think that's where the difference is, you know? So if that made any sense whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Okay, here. Gary says, if I could, I would fund the entire production. Gary, you're so nice. You're so kind. Yeah, those are the kind of comments that make me super happy.
Yeah.
You know. Jamie Michelle says, cross your fingers. High hopes. H says, can it be extended? I've already explained that. Well, he's probably coming in late, but they always people always go back and rewatch these podcasts anyway. So your answer has already been done at least a few times. He says, if every backer ups their donation closer to $100, you'll make it. That's what I'm saying. We only need 120 people to throw in $100. And I was actually on the street today going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There would be 1,000 and 1, 2, you know. And I was like, I was near 120 people right there, and I was like, wow, like I would have the whole budget like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's how fast it would be. And after Christabel tweeted, I thought for sure we're gonna get 120 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Reggie says, is X-Files still on Netflix? Not in America, it's not. Lights Above says, all those watching who haven't donated, do it now. I agree. Now here's the thing, Mandy. We have, I'm not kidding you, probably about, I don't know, at least in the thousands that have watched the videos in the last week.
Yeah.
You know, if you add them all up, it's in the thousands. We just need 120 of them to throw in some money. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of people who like their content for free. You know, even Alexandra is saying she pirates everything in Eastern Europe. You know, people like things for free. But you know, I think anybody, if you donate $1, if you donate $100 or more or whatever, I don't think you're going to be disappointed in what you're going to see. You know, so all right. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says February 24th would be a significant date for an extended deadline. Yeah, that would be an amazing thing if I could set that date, but I can't. And even then, that would be so pushing it in terms of like planning and stuff. So yeah, it can't happen, unfortunately. Jamie says, for the love of Twin Peaks, donate. Jamie has been one of our huge cheerleaders on this page and for this project. So thank you. Let's see. Reggie says, oh, honestly, I expected your film to get about $3,000 and that's it. Glad it has way more. Well, thanks for being so supportive, Reggie. Appreciate that. Did you really think we were that hated? I mean, my God. Buster says, maybe there's only a few real diehard Twin Peaks fans. Maybe the rest are just fair weather fans. Proof is wrong. Fair weather fans. I don't know about it. Believe me, there's a lot of hardcore people out there. There just needs to be that extra little something that makes people go from watching something for free to, hey, I'll throw in $1. Mm-hmm. That's what was the big problem in the 80s with television actors going to the movies. When interviewed, a lot of people would say, why would I go to the theater and see a movie they're in when I can watch them for free every Thursday night at 8:00? So that's just the human mentality of I just want to take what's free. You know, I get that. So now, of course, when the film's made, the film's going to be dropped online for free. But you know, it'd be super funny is if the film was only available for those who donated to the film.
Mean.
Be like, oh, you're part of the 263 backers. Guess what? You get your own copy. Everybody else, what's in it? What I miss? Oh, I'll never tell. Hashtag keep the mystery alive.
Oh my gosh. Stop it with the hashtags tonight, okay?
Sandy says I donated what I could. Really hope you guys can get to it. Listen, I don't care if you throw in $1 or whatever, or you just shared it. Whatever you guys did, believe me, it was super supportive and super awesome, and that's all I care about. You know, because I donate a lot of my time and energy into these videos on top of everything else I have going on in my life. Just seeing you guys like things, retweet things, spread the love, you know, that shows me that, you know, you guys actually like what we do here. Nathan says, hurry everyone in the chat, donate $100 right now. It's safe and easy. Yeah, and you'll get your money back if it doesn't hit the end. So, you know, what was it? Frank told me the other night, he said, yeah, just tell everyone it's kind of like it's a 3-day loan, you know. You know, that everyone can just loan you like $500 for, you know, a few days, and then if it doesn't hit, they all get it back, and it's like, hello, cha-ching.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible. Oh, we got some contributions though. Look at this. We have Jason in here with $50. Thank you. And we have Yuka with 10. So awesome. that is fantastic. Believe it or not, we've had more just doing this video tonight than we had all day. So
awesome.
Which is only going to encourage people to tell us that we have to do another 24-hour marathon, which is just not going to happen, guys. Now, does that mean I'm not going to do a video this weekend? No, it doesn't. I am going to do a video this weekend. I'm just not going to do a 24-hour video this weekend. So we are now up to 13,115. 265 backers, still at 52%. Okay, let's see if there's more chats here or more comments here. Sorry, my brain is fried. Matt Ford said, I would gladly keep donating every payday if the deadline was extended. Donating tomorrow anyway. Well, thank you, Matt. It's not. See, again, would I extend it to like the end of January if I could? Sure. But it doesn't just extend to the end of January. It would extend all the way till June. And that would mean I wouldn't get any of the money until like late June. And I'm going to be done with the shooting by the end of late June, which would mean that I would have to cover all the costs myself. So that's where that comes in. So, I mean, it's kind of like, and it's hard because, you know, what if in February I only have 14,000? Well, I can't make the film because I don't know how much is coming in. You know what I mean? It's like, I'd have to make a cheaper version of it. And then if more money came in, you know, people would be like, well, wait a minute, I thought you had this much money. Why does it look like this now? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to get into all that. It's just, the crowdfunding is supposed to be 30 days. And I set this one for 45 days. And then I also did, like a 20-day countdown to the thing. So, you know, I think there's been a lot of time.
Yeah, there really has been.
You know, I'm not trying to be stubborn here, guys. I'm just trying to explain my reasoning. Hal said, we got no requests to do the podcast. You should just pimp me out cheap. So maybe I don't Hal, I can't put on as a perk for $150 that you'll go on a date with people in where you live. As funny as that is, that would be considered prostitution on the internet, which is a federal crime. And I don't want to be arrested for a Twin Peaks fan film. Thanks.
Oh.
Uh, let's see here. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says, that's what we did at Wrapped in Plastic. I did a lot of those X-Files pieces from Vancouver myself. Awesome, David. You know what? I only own like 4 issues of Wrapped in Plastic because I don't know, I never found like a way to order it. So I got the issues like after the it was already over. I was in like some comic book store, and they had issues there, and I bought every single one they had.
I still have a bunch of mine too. I think I have like 6 or 7 or something.
Mm-hmm. Gray Geiger says, how do you go about calculating the budget? Well, that's a whole other discussion. That's kind of what a line producer does. You go through the budget or the script, you start figuring out how much things are going to cost. And, you know, you figure out like, okay, I have this much to offer this person and this and to do this job and blah, blah, blah. And then you just figure out who can work within those prices. And sometimes you need to do adjustments. Like you'll get to somebody and be like, oh, I can do it for this much. So you'll have to subtract it from, other departments and stuff like that. So it's a long, complicated process. But Ace Ventura says, my question is, couldn't you just take what ends up in the pot and do another campaign for the rest of it? Well, here's the thing. So I have the campaign set so that I get the money or I don't get the money. Like some campaigns on Indiegogo, whatever you raise, you get. Right. So let's say I asked for 25,000 and I raised 13. Well, at the end of the thing, I would get the 13. So he's saying, why don't you just do that? Because I don't want to do another campaign and go through the same stress of all this again. It's, you know what? Because honestly, I've done campaigns before where, they haven't been successful. And so I would go on to like PayPal or whatever like that and like have to refund everybody individually. And so that was just annoying and sad and depressing. So this way, it's just the website takes care of it itself and on you go. But listen, we haven't finished this one yet. I'll talk other possibilities maybe if this campaign is not successful, but let's make this successful. We don't have all that much left to go. We've made more than we need now. You know what I mean? So it's not entirely. Listen, I've seen campaigns before where in the last 24 hours, like they raised like $50,000. I mean, so you never know what's going to happen. And that not knowing is stressful.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura says free is cheap. It looks and sounds and tastes cheap. So Mandy, I guess we're cheap. We're just we're on YouTube like almost every night this week. So do I look and sound and taste cheap? I hope not.
Oh dear.
Jason says, if you guys are jonesing for any more Twin Peaks, you have an opportunity to actually produce as a donor. It is, and you don't have to owe me your kidney, just $1. Let's see. Jane Michelle says, people who want all their entertainment for free seem to selectively forget that making entertainment for them to enjoy totally isn't free.
Yep.
And again, I'm not making a penny on this thing. This is all going into permits, locations, equipment. It's like, everybody's doing this as a labor of love. Nobody's getting paid for this. Let's see here. Reggie says, maybe you should set the release date a year later so you can continue the campaign until June. Yeah, Reggie, I really want to devote 2 years of my life to this project. It's like, I want to make this more than anything, but this is something I'm doing for free. It's like I can make money doing other stuff. This is something that I've set aside time to do it now. I thought that I've built up enough clout on here to be able to do this. Like I said, I set the budget relatively low compared to what people said they were going to put in. So if if I can't do this now, I'm not going to be able to do this a year from now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like people know who I am by now. So, you know, and again, I have nearly 3,000 subscribers on this channel. I just need 120 of them to throw in $100 and boom, we'd be there. So it's just a numbers thing. Not asking for $3 million. Everybody's saying you would be guaranteed to have the money if you extend it, though. Would I?
It's already been like, what, 40 something days.
And I spammed the hell out of everybody for weeks about this thing, even before. And I honestly think it would be kind of cheap too to be like, everyone donate, donate, donate. Oh, by the way, I'm extending it 6 months. Like people would be like, well, wait a minute here. You told us to donate because it was ending, and now you're saying 6 months. What, why should we trust you? What's going on here? There's that. There's dealing with the stress of fundraising as well as doing everything else. And also, if I was to say to people right now, like, we're going to extend it for 6 months, do you think we would get any other donation over the next 2 days? Maybe like a couple. It would just completely dry up, and everybody would wait till May to do it again.
Only when you promote the hell out of it again.
Exactly.
And do all these things, and yeah.
And also, I mean, come on, we've had so many Twin Peaks people talking about this, tweeting about it, etc. If Krista Bell tweeting about this movie does not get you off your rocking chair to throw in $1, I don't know what else can. An extra 6 months ain't gonna help. Yeah. And it's not like I'm surprising everybody with this. Like, hey, everybody, you guys have now 3 days to come up with $25,000. No, it's like, you guys have had 2 months. We've had 2 months to do this. So if it doesn't happen, obviously, the crowd has spoken. However, we are at 52%. So we are over the halfway mark. Right? So more than half the people want this to happen. It's about convincing the other half to come in. Yeah, Buster says, yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of interested people who want to donate. There's a lot of people, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, though. Ace Ventura says, I need this project to happen. Voltaire's asking if we're going to do another marathon. We've already answered that. No. Let's see. Gray Geyer says, by the way, Cameron and I finally watched The Straight Story the other day. Loved it. Very heartbreaking and heartwarming movie. Oh, it's a beautiful movie. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Norman says, do you really want anything more on Annie than just I'm fine? If you do, donate now. Well, actually, Norman, spoilers. Guys, he's just ruined the whole movie now. The entire movie is her just saying I'm fine for 2 hours. Thanks, Norman. All right, let's move on to the next question. So you guys don't have to donate now. He just ruined the whole movie. 2 hours of Annie sitting in a chair saying I'm fine. Thanks, Norman. Appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with Buster. If people aren't going to donate in 45 days, they're not going to in 6 months.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks Outside City Limits says hashtag I'm fine. Yeah, that'll be the hashtag if the project doesn't get funded. It'll be like hashtag Twin Peaks community says, Annie's fine or something like that. That's way too big. But it's like, well, I guess they're okay with I'm fine. So all right. Well, Manny's about to fall asleep. We have 4 thumbs down now.
Super.
We're loved. We're very much loved here. Let's see here. We have Jason says, well, at least I'm fine has more dialogue than the sweeping scene. Alexander says it's your life and your time, of course, but the numbers have increased during the last week with the marathon and video after video. So I think it can happen if you keep doing it a while longer. Why did it increase this week, though? Not because we were doing these videos, but because we were heading towards a finish line. Had nothing to do with the videos. I've been doing videos 3-4 times a week for a year now, you know? It's not about that. It's about us keep saying 7 days left, 7 days left, you know? So, I mean, but we have a new contribution at 901. Thank you. Gray Geiger with his $1. Thank you.
Awesome.
We just need 12,000 more of you. Let's see. So that takes us up to load. Come on. $13,116. 266 backers. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a few more questions and then we're out of here. Let's see here. SBF says, what if it's I'm fine in backwards lodge speak? Well, if you look at the initial teaser poster that I made for Queen of Hearts, you'll see like, you know, my little spin on that whole thing, which is Annie tells Cooper in the diner, look at me. I completely forgot the social niceties. You asked me how I am. I'm not really supposed to say how I am. I'm supposed to say, I'm fine, thanks. How are you? So I took it as when her saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. While it seems like a corny joke of, how's Annie? How's Annie? I'm fine. I'm fine. It's her saying, I'm saying I'm fine just to be nice, but I really mean something else deep inside. So, all right. Let's see. Jerp says $1 closer. Hal says, thanks, Gray Geiger. $1 from everyone would make a big impact. Definitely. Super. And SBF says, enif me is I'm fine backwards. So hashtag enif me. And yeah, so all right, Mandy, let's get out of here. We have 73 people watching. We have 41 thumbs up, 4 thumbs down.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool.
People are saying I'll reach more money if the film had nude scenes. I not when it's released free on YouTube. I can, or you know, online. I can't have nude scenes. Alexander says, my perception was that the people were really energized during the marathon and the event helped with the donations. But again, what do I know? I'm still doing a video this Saturday, people. Okay. It's just not going to be 24 hours long. My voice can't handle it. I have other things to do. I've been working like 12-hour shifts, coming home and podcasting all night long and then going straight to bed. So I can't do another 24-hour marathon. I had the opportunity during the break. So, let's see. Twin Peaks Outside City Limit says, awesome. Cameron and Mandy, have a great evening. Mandy, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Always a blast.
It is super fun. It's super fun. Oh, and let's end on this note here. You know how I always make fun of like Hawk coming in late at the end of season 3, and I always say like, oh, he was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know what? Hawk is a great character. I love Hawk, but he's not very dependable, I think, when it comes down to it. Because I was thinking about the end of season 2. He says, "That's where I found the bloody towel and the pages of the diary," and he's the one that tells Cooper about you need to confront your shadow self. But when Cooper walks into the Black Lodge, Hawk's nowhere to be seen. When it's the next morning, it's Sheriff Truman and Andy sitting on the stump. Hawk is nowhere to be seen. Hawk never comes back. So, you know, I guess Hawk's just hanging out with Diane Shapiro or something. And, you know, I don't know. I don't think when we need Hawk, he's somewhere else. So I can see. He's like, oh, doppelganger's here. I'm gonna just hide in the bathroom until he's on the floor. So I don't know. I'm getting disappointed in Hawk now that I'm thinking about him. I wanted him to be a badass, and now he's he hides.
Are you getting at something?
No.
Oh, this was just like like final parting observations about Hawk. We could explore this later, you know.
Well, let me just throw it out there, and people can explore it, and then we can talk another video. I thought when you were saying, are you implying something? No, I'm not implying that Hawk is gay. He's not hiding anything. He's not hashtag, Hawk is gay for Mandy. Jacob saying, stop bashing Hawk. I'm not bashing Hawk. I'm having fun. Come on, guys. Jeez. Voltaire says maybe that's why he wasn't promoted to sheriff. I'm just saying. Gray guy here says hashtag gays for Hawk.
Wow. Yeah.
Gays for Hawk and Mandy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just saying that like I started thinking about it on my drive today. Like, yeah, Hawk wasn't even around at the end of season 2. He just kind of took off when Cooper's going to go in the Black Lodge. Like he could really have used, Hawk as his guide to like go to the lodge and remind him, listen, before you walk in there, remember, do not go into this place with imperfect courage. No, Hawk's just probably hanging out at the Double R having a cup of coffee or something while all this is happening. Like, why would you send Andy with Sheriff Truman to the Black Lodge? Like, shouldn't Hawk be the one that goes with Sheriff Truman?
Yeah. You know what?
Huh.
Now that you say that, I'd just like to tell the viewers too that this video was supposed to be 30 minutes long. It is now 2 hours and 8 minutes later, because when we were saying goodbye, you decided to start having a discussion about Hawk, which is totally fine.
Well, Hal's in the chat saying hashtag gay Hawks for Mandy and gays for Irene from Haps.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
wow.
Boy. I think we're
She's
starting.
Amazing.
I think we're starting something,
Anyway, my question is, has Hawk ever been in the Double R diner?
Oh.
I'm replaying in my mind, and I cannot think of a single time
there has to be a scene. There has to be a scene.
Okay, someone send me a screenshot. I seriously cannot think of him ever being in.
Buster says.
Oh no, this is going to be a hashtag again, isn't it?
No, Buster says Lucy should have given Hawk chocolate. He wouldn't have had to sit in the washroom that long.
Oh no.
H says, sorry, I'm going to start dying over here. He says, as soon as Hawk tells Sheriff Frank Truman, you don't want to know about that, he was mentally checked out. Absolutely hilarious. Well, we'll have to discuss this Hawk thing on another video. It gets hilarious to me. We should get Michael Horse on here because he's been on here before, and we can discuss gay Hawks for Mandy with him. And Norman says, wasn't Hawk at the table when Cooper was introduced to the Bookhouse Boys?
Yes, there we go.
There you
go.
But
that's like the only time.
This is my favorite thing when they all like are sitting at the table and they do.
Oh, so good. So good. I love the Bookhouse Boys so much.
Yeah, no, I love them. All right, guys, we're done. I've kept Mandy on here way too long. So I'm gonna have to probably change this video to Twin Peaks Thought of the Day because Queen of Hearts update. It's not quite that, but even though we did talk about it a lot, so. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Just so you guys know, we have 2.5 days left. We are at $13,116, 266 backers, 52% raised. Let's do it. We really don't have that much more to go if we all just band together and do this. Of course, do you realize how amazing it would be if we hit that goal? Like that would just be like, I think all of us collectively would be like this. Oh, thank Christ. Yeah.
It'd be a very good moment.
Exactly. Exactly. Hal and I would have to come on and dance again. You know, it would be that kind of celebration thing. I would have like the woodsmen behind me, like dancing around me. Yeah. So
say goodnight, Cameron.
I will. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us all week. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So give this video a thumbs up. Those 4 people thumbing it down. Give this video a thumbs up. Share these videos. Spread the love. Spread the campaign. Donate if you can. Really appreciate it. Let's get to that goal. We got 2.5 days. All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good night. Bye.